Good afternoon and welcome to Yggdrasil Gardens. I'm your host, Chance Walton. Today I have a beard care product for you for those who don't like scent. Now you might be saying, work in the garden, I'm working on the yard, I'm mowing the yard. How do you keep your beard looking and smelling so good? Well, my trick is the beard struggle. I use their products, put on my oil, put on my cream, butter, or balm to get it shaped and styled. Use my combs, get it where I like it. But what if you already look good and smell good? Is there a product for you? Or let's say you're allergic to a lot of scents. Say you have asthma or something and scents trigger you. Well, I have Loki Unscented Beard Oil. Now, unscented beard oil is great for if you live with people who are sensitive to scents, or if you are a person with sensitive to scents, you can use the unscented oil and it won't bother you. There's no scent, kind of makes sense. Sense for sense. It's really great oil. Goes on just like all the rest. Put it on your hands, apply it to your beard. Helps hydrate the skin underneath your beard so it doesn't get dried out and itchy. You don't want to be that guy who's sitting at an event, look down and you've got beard dandruff all over your shirt or all over your shoulders, or beard dandruff at the front of your beard. Use some beard oil. It hydrates the skin, keeps you from being itchy, keeps you from being dried out, keeps you from looking like a geezer with beard flakes all over you. All right, makes sense. We're good. Moving on to gardening. So, I'm going to show y'all today what my garden looks like. Since my first two videos, I have actually moved houses. So, my garden is not set up. What y'all saw last time, gone. I have to restart. So, I need to get soil and I need to get manure. As you can see, I have some rosemary plants. This one I actually took because it was struggling at someone else's house, and I'm trying to revive it. So we'll see what happens with that. If it survives, awesome. If not, well, I've still got 3 really good rosemary plants. This is a pineapple I've been growing since summer of last year. So hopefully this year we'll get a pineapple. This is sedum, which is a type of succulent. So you don't have to water it a lot. I would put it with like a tree or in a flower bed that you don't have a lot going on with, because it kind of spreads on its own. As you can see, this one's really come out real well. It's real thick, and it'll eventually make vines that dangle down on the pot. I've got 2 saw palmetto palm trees that I got off a nature trail. And then as you see, my strawberry plants have divided and are starting to do really good and develop strawberries. So, for today's topic, let's talk about soil. What kind of soil? What kind should you use? Type does not matter. I will tell you, the cheaper the soil, there's a reason it's cheap. It's got a lot of forestry products, a lot of bits of mulch to it. So you might need to build you with some 2x4s and some mesh, a sifting screen, because you don't want all that forestry product in there. The closer to true dirt you can get it, the better. So I like, and a lot of people have told me to use Happy Frog. Their soil is really good, hardly any forestry product to it. It is good soil all around. Plants tend to love it from what I've seen and from my experience with it. So Happy Frog is really good soil. If you're gonna get cheap soil, be aware it's gonna have a lot of forestry to it. So you're gonna wanna do some sifting and cleaning it out. All right, to get the perfect mix of soil, I've seen lots of people doing this. I've used to do it. So we've talked about building our garden, putting mulch at the bottom of it. 100%, that's great, do it. That'll help you with retaining moisture, and you won't have to water your garden nearly as often as having just straight soil in there, because that mulch is going to absorb any moisture that comes into it, any fertilizer products. It's going to retain that and give it to the plants. And it's also going to help with mycorrhizal fungus growing that, because you want that, as we talked about in the earlier videos. So to mix your soil, I recommend a 50-50-50 ratio. So if you do a 5-gallon bucket of soil, do a 5-gallon bucket of ash, like burn some wood, do a 5-gallon bucket of ash, and then do a 5-gallon bucket of sand. Mix that up really well. Churn it. And I mean churn it. You want it to be perfectly mixed together. That'll get you as close to about like your lawn soil as you can get. It'll make it more like dirt than just soil. And plants love that because the sand helps with the roots being able to spread easier, keep it from being more of a mud when it does get rained on. So you'll want to do, if you do a 50-pound bag, if you do a 50-pound bag of soil, do a 50-pound bag of sand, and then do a 50-pound bag filled with ash, wood. You want it to be natural ash. Don't go and throw plastic and a bunch of crap in there. You don't want anything man-made mixed into this. You want wood ash. You want leaf ash. You want, I'd even say cardboard is okay. I know it's man-made, but cardboard, that would be safe for you to get some ash going. So you mix all that together really well and you will have some super rich soil. It'll have a high carbon content. And as we talked about before, you want carbon. You cannot put too much carbon in your soil. Carbon is great for the microorganisms. All right, you do that and you are ready for planting. The only other thing I would recommend with your soil, once you have it mixed up and laid in, come over it with manure. Manure is great for starting off your plants because it is high. It's usually about 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So, but it has naturally high levels of phosphorus and potassium and nitrogen. Yeah, it's only 0.5, so it's not a lot, but it has a lot of organic matter. That's what you want, a lot of organic matter. That will kick your seeds off in full gear, kick off the growth, and it'll get everything going. Now, as you can see, this is what I was talking about by cheap dirt. You see that? There's so much forestry product in it. It's basically more like mulch than it is soil. And that's all my pots because I bought cheap soil and I didn't sift it. Definitely don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do in this case, because you do not want that forestry product unless you have, you know, a little more tolerant plants. Like rosemary does really fine with it because rosemary doesn't take a lot of water. You don't have to water rosemary very hard very often, and it does really well. These plants have been growing, gosh, I want to say this is their 3rd year alive. And I mean, as you see, they're beautiful. They've already bloomed their purple blooms and they're staying strong. My Jap maple, this is its 3rd year and it's doing great. I might need to snip this piece off, but we'll see. It's coming out in force. Now with this Jap maple, I actually had a broken main taproot on it that I had to add. I put some 0062 and some 42020 at the bottom of the pot with it, and then I taped the taproot to itself and just I prayed. And as you can see clearly, something was on my side because that Jap maple was looking good. All right, fellas, so we've talked about, and ladies, we've talked about soil. We've talked about getting it started naturally with manure. So like we said, manure, really great because of the organic matter. That organic matter also gives a place with that carbon for microorganisms to develop. Beneficial bacteria, beneficial funguses, all that good jazz. You want your garden to be as natural as possible with as little artificial stuff added to it. So fertilizer is fine. I mean, you can make your own fertilizer with compost. Now, composting, there are so many different ways of composting. I might have to make a separate video for that as we get into it and as I learn a little bit more about composting, because I've only ever done composting one year where I had a bucket like one of these that the rosemary's in, and I filled it halfway with soil, and I was dumping food scraps in there. And when we hit winter, I covered it with a trash bag and poked one little breather hole in it. And it worked really well. I mean, it composted down, it made really rich soil. I grew so many watermelon seedlings out of that compost. It was ridiculous. I had so many watermelon seedlings popping up in it that I ended up having to give them away because it was too many for me to handle. So I will definitely make another video later on composting, but as for today, I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. So we will see you guys next week, and hopefully before too long I'll have my garden set up and we can all be growing together. Well, thank you for your time, and I hope you guys like, share, subscribe, send this to your friends to teach them how to grow their own food. I do this purely for fun. I am not paid. This is just me having fun, teaching other people what I know. Thank you, and y'all have a great weekend.